Imagine this scenario. You are driving home on the highway. It is late at night. The snow is falling heavily and visibility is dropping to absolutely zero. Suddenly you see a wall of red brake lights ahead of you. You stop. You wait 10 minutes, then 20 minutes, then an hour passes, nothing moves. You turn off your engine to save gas. The temperature inside your car drops to freezing within minutes. You check your phone, but there is no signal. You are not just stuck in traffic. You are trapped in a frozen metal box, and nobody is coming to get you. Every single year, thousands of motorists get stranded in severe weather events, just like the infamous I-95 shutdown in Virginia, where people were trapped for nearly 30 hours without food, water, or heat. Most people think their car is a shelter. It is not. Without fuel, your car is just a refrigerator that you are sitting inside of. It offers zero insulation against the biting cold once the engine dies. Most drivers have a spare tire and maybe some jumper cables in the back. But when the highway turns into a frozen graveyard, those things are completely useless. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 specific life-saving items you need in your trunk right now. Item number 3 is something you probably have in your kitchen drawer. And item number 5 is the literal difference between waking up in the morning or drifting off forever. Before we open the trunk, we need to understand the enemy we are fighting. When you are stranded in a blizzard or a massive pileup, you are not fighting traffic. You are fighting 2 invisible killers: hypothermia and carbon monoxide. The biggest mistake people make is relying entirely on the car heater. They think, I have half a tank of gas, I will just run the engine. Here is the brutal math of survival. An idling car consumes about half a gallon to a gallon of gas per hour. If you have a quarter tank, you have maybe 3 or 4 hours of heat maximum. Once that gas is gone, the temperature inside that vehicle will match the temperature outside very quickly. Worst of all, if snow piles up and blocks your exhaust pipe while you are idling, carbon monoxide will fill the cabin. It is odorless, it is colorless, and it puts you to sleep before it kills you. So your survival strategy cannot depend on the engine running. It must depend on what you have packed in your trunk. Let us build the ultimate survival kit together. Item number 1 is obvious, but most people buy the wrong kind. You need a wool blanket or a sub-zero sleeping bag. Notice I emphasize the word wool. Do not throw a cheap $5 polyester fleece blanket from a gas station into your trunk and think you are safe. Those are useless in extreme cold conditions. Here is the science behind it. Wool and cheap synthetics absorb moisture very differently. If you sweat from stress, or if snow gets in the car, those cheap fabrics get wet and stay wet. They will actually suck the heat away from your body, accelerating hypothermia. In the survival community, we have a saying that cotton kills. Wool is miraculous because it is hydrophilic. It retains heat even when it is damp. It traps a layer of warm air against your body, acting as a second skin. If you cannot afford a high-end sub-zero sleeping bag, go to an army surplus store and buy a heavy military-grade wool blanket. When the gas runs out and the car dies, this blanket is the only thing separating your core temperature from the freezing air. Wrap yourself in it tightly. If you have passengers, huddle together under it because body heat is a precious resource that you cannot afford to waste. Item number 2 solves a critical physiological problem that almost nobody thinks about until it is far too late. That problem is water. When you are surrounded by white snow, it is easy to think, I will just eat that if I get thirsty. Listen to me closely. Never eat snow. Eating snow lowers your core body temperature drastically and almost instantly. Here is the biology behind it. Your body has to burn precious calories and generate massive amounts of internal heat just to melt that ice inside your stomach from a solid to a liquid. This process steals energy from your vital organs and accelerates the onset of hypothermia. You need liquid water to survive, but here is the logistical nightmare. If you keep standard plastic water bottles in your trunk during winter, they will freeze solid. You cannot drink a block of ice, and plastic bottles often crack and burst when the water inside expands. This is exactly why item number 2 is a single-walled stainless steel water bottle paired with a metal nesting cup. Why do I specify metal? Because unlike plastic or glass, you can put metal directly into a fire. If you are stuck for 24 hours or more, you can collect snow in the metal cup and use a small flame to melt it before drinking. You absolutely cannot do that with plastic because it will melt and release toxic chemicals into your water supply. Having a simple metal vessel turns the frozen threat around you into a life-sustaining resource. This naturally brings us to item number 3. This is the item I mentioned earlier that you might already have sitting in your kitchen right now. Imagine your car battery dies and your gas tank is completely empty. How do you generate heat without the engine? You need a DIY candle heater. This survival kit consists of 3 simple things: a metal coffee can or a large metal cooking pot, a lighter, and a few multi-wick survival candles. Let us talk about the physics of this because many people are skeptical. A car cabin is a small, enclosed, and relatively insulated space. While a single candle will not make it feel like a tropical beach vacation, it generates enough BTUs to raise the ambient temperature inside the vehicle by just enough degrees to keep you above freezing. It can be the critical difference between 20 degrees and 40 degrees Fahrenheit. But this candle heater serves a dual purpose beyond just temperature. First, it creates a massive psychological boost. Sitting in a dark, freezing box creates panic and despair. A flame provides light and a sense of hope, which is crucial for morale. Second, and most importantly, this flame can be used underneath your metal cup to melt that snow we just talked about so you can stay hydrated. However, there is a critical life or death warning attached to this method. If you light a flame inside a car, you must crack a window slightly on the downwind side for ventilation. Fire consumes oxygen and produces fumes. You are trying to survive the cold, not suffocate yourself. But having a reliable heat source that does not depend on your engine running is an absolute game changer when you are stranded for the long haul. Sometimes the danger is not just sitting still in traffic. Sometimes you are the one stuck in a ditch. You swerve to avoid a deer or hit a patch of black ice, and now your tires are spinning helplessly in deep snow. This leads us to item number 4, which is a compact folding shovel and a bag of non-clumping kitty litter. Do not underestimate the physical reality of digging. You cannot dig a car out of a snowbank with your bare hands. In sub-zero temperatures, your hands will freeze within minutes. You will lose dexterity and fine motor skills, making it impossible to operate your keys or phone, and panic will set in. A simple military-style folding shovel takes up almost zero space in your trunk, but gives you the critical ability to clear snow away from your tires. More importantly, it allows you to clear snow from your exhaust pipe to prevent that deadly carbon monoxide gas from backing up into the cabin while you try to get unstuck. The kitty litter is purely for physics and friction. When your tires are on ice, there is zero coefficient of friction. They just spin and polish the ice, making it smoother. Pouring gritty, non-clumping kitty litter under your drive tires creates an aggregate surface for the rubber to grab onto. If you do not have kitty litter, you can actually pull out your car floor mats and wedge them under the tires. This gives you just enough traction to launch yourself back onto the road. In a massive storm, do not rely on calling a tow truck. The tow trucks are the first ones to get overwhelmed, and the wait time can be days. You need to have a self-rescue mindset. Finally, we have arrived at item number 5. This is the most overlooked item, yet it is often the difference between being seen and being hit. When your car battery dies, your hazard lights die with it. In a blizzard, your car becomes a dark, invisible boulder sitting in the middle of the highway. This is incredibly dangerous because other drivers or massive snowplows might not see you until they crash into you. You need chemical glow sticks and a high-quality headlamp. Please listen to me. Forget the flashlight on your phone. Most smartphones run on lithium-ion batteries. In extreme cold, the internal resistance of these batteries increases dramatically, causing the voltage to drop and the battery to die in a fraction of its normal lifespan. You cannot risk your only communication device just to see in the dark. You also need to forget cheap handheld flashlights because you need your hands free to change a tire or dig snow. A headlamp is mandatory, and the glow sticks are your backup signaling system. Crack them and hang them on your antenna or door handles. They rely on chemiluminescence, not electricity, so they do not care if it is 10 degrees below zero. They last for 12 hours, and their distinct colored light cuts through the whiteout of a blizzard better than a white beam, telling rescue workers and plows that there is a person alive inside this vehicle. Look, nobody leaves their house expecting to spend the night shivering on the side of the highway. But weather is unpredictable, and roads are dangerous environments. The difference between a scary story you tell your friends later and a tragedy reported on the news is often just a simple plastic tote bin in your trunk. A wool blanket, a metal cup, a candle, a shovel, and a reliable light source. These items cost less than a single tank of gas, but they buy you the most valuable commodity on Earth, which is time. Time for the storm to pass or time for help to arrive. If you found this survival breakdown helpful, please do me a favor and hit the like button. It helps the algorithm get this safety information to more drivers before the next storm hits. Stay safe out there.